43 present.
Okay.
Present, sir. 44.
45 you.
Present, sir.
46.
Present, sir.
47.
47 present, sir.
48. 49.
Yes, sir. Present.
50.
Present, sir. 50 present.
51. 52.
Present, sir. 52 present.
53. 54.
Present, sir.
55 you.
Present, sir.
56. 57.
Present, sir.
58.
Present, sir.
59.
Present, sir.
53. 54. 60.
Present, sir.
55.
Present, sir. 60 present.
Roll number 16 is present, sir. I just missed it. Roll number
61.
16, 16.
Okay.
60 present, sir. 60.
Okay. 62.
Present, sir. 62 present.
63. 64.
Present, sir.
65 you.
Present, sir. 65.
66.
Present, sir.
67. 68. 69. 17.
Present, sir.
71. 72.
Present, sir.
73.
72 present. Present, sir.
Roll number 3, sir. 3, sir.
72 present, sir.
Roll number 23 present.
Sir, 72. Roll number.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, 58.
Sir, roll number 20. Excuse me. Hello, sir.
हाँ मैम वेट कीजिए 5 मिनट्स.
हाँ.
अरे जाते हैं.
नाही करंट लागेल ना म्हणून मी करंट लागेल माय ऑन.
So, roll number 20.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. आपको सर का बायोडाटा रेडी सर.
Sir, I don't get biodata, sir. From morning, I'm demanding for the same, but I didn't get, sir.
You can check the WhatsApp number. Already pasted. Madan Suryavanshi.
Okay, sir. I'm
मॅम ते सविता मॅमला कॉल करा मॅम त्यांची तुम्हाला त्यांनी सेंड केलाय म्हटलं ते व्हॉट्सअपवरती. row 20.
yes, sir, but I don't get the biodata, sir.
1 minute. रोल नंबर 20।
हाँ यस सर।
मैम एक बार व्हाट्सएप चेक कीजिए आपका।
हाँ सर मैंने चेक किया है लेकिन
एक
देर
बार
इज
चेक
नो
कीजिए,
एनी
आप ऑलरेडी मैंने
बायोडाटा
आपको सेंड किया
सामने
मैम,
नहीं दिया।
एक बार चेक कीजिए।
ओके सर देखते हैं।
रोल नंबर 20। रोल नंबर 90।
Hello.
यस
Sir.
सर। ओके।
यस सर यस आई गॉट इट।
I am ready to read the biodata.
रोल नंबर 20, आपके पास ना वोट ऑफ थैंक्स मैडम ओनली।
ओके सर ठीक है।
आप सिर्फ 6 बजे कीजिए मैडम। हाँ ठीक है। रोल नंबर 90,
ओके
प्लीज
सर।
रीड द बायोडाटा। आप अनम्यूट कीजिए 90 नंबर। यस।
Hello. I am ready to. Sir.
Just roll number 90 start.
Am I audible, sir, all of you?
Yes sir.
Hello, colleague, and good afternoon to one and all. In UGC, HRDC, and MMTC, and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathon University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, organized the arts refresher course in disaster management. First of all, myself, Professor Dilip Pawar, working as assistant professor at Sri Venkatesh Mahavidyalaya, Ichalkaranji, District Kolhapur, the special branch of commerce. I have 20 years experience, teaching experience at UG and PG level. One of the eminent personality, I have to give the introduction of the one of the eminent personality, Dr. Madan Lal Vinayak Rao Suryavanshi, working as assistant professor and head of the department of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathon University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. First of all, I am introducing his education qualification. He has completed BA in Geography, Hindi, English. He has completed MA in Geography. He has completed BEd in Geography and Hindi. He has completed PhD in the subject of Agricultural Geography. He had participated soil erosion and agriculture land use land use organized at the IRS Dehradun. He has participated in the capacity building program for social sciences at organized at Sardar Patel Institute of Economics and Social Research, Ahmedabad. He has cleared the NRDMS DST summer school program in the subject of coastal and ocean vulnerability using geospatial technologies at IIT Chennai. His teaching experience is now I'm reading. He has teaching experience of 14 years. He has research experience is 16 years. He has also administrative experience of 8 years. His Google Scholar citations are total citations are 35, I10 inbox is 2, and H index is 2. ResearchGate and also citations are total 27 9, and H index is 2. He has assisted to syllabus framing in CBS outcome based education. Now his co-curricular activities, his two patents has been published. He has qualified. He has guided 15 students for PhD and 2 students are working for PhD. He has completed 2 research projects. He has published 14 research papers in referred and non-referred journals. He has also presented 26 papers in the various conferences and seminars. He has organized 6 conferences, seminars, workshops. He has invited 45 places as invited guest lecturer. He has got one award also. He has evaluated near about 25 dissertation and PhD theses. He has successfully organized and remained coordinator for various training programs, refreshers, orientations, short-term courses and PhD courses. The number of these conferences are total 13. He is remained life member of 2 institutions. He is working on 4 university bodies. So we are so lucky that this eminent and well-established personality is with us. And lastly, I am thankful for the organization for giving me the valuable opportunity to introduce the esteemed personality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for introduce me. Very systematically, you present your work. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Madan Suryavanshi from Department of Geography, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Firstly, I thank you, Professor Dr. Satish Patil, sir, Director UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. And I also thank you who giving me this opportunity for discuss with you, Professor Dr. Ram Chavan, sir, coordinator of this particular course. Also, I thank you, Professor Rafe, sir, and all my dear professors. Today we will be discuss on some technologies. Those technology correlate to disaster management, not only disaster management, so many phenomena they have connect also. Every technology connect to our human development activities. For example, agriculture, industry, service sector, and also disasters. They have major role in nowadays, especially in India. India is not a country, actually it is a subcontinent. But there are so many issues related to the physical and geographical. Basically, today we will be discussing on the natural disasters related to the geographical phenomena. Especially in India, all coastal area spread approximately 7,000 kilometers. There are Bay of Bengal and the other side is the Arabian Ocean. Both sides we have the issue of tsunamis. Another is the interior area of the India. There are the Deccan Plateau known as various earthquakes. For example, in 1993, Killari, after then Bhuj, Gujarat, there are very huge earthquakes we have occurred there. After then the Himalayan ranges, there are the landsliding and group D earth prone area is there. So because of everywhere in India, there are the natural disasters available. After then, the Gangetic Plain, there are the very major plain, major floods are occurred there. So today we will be discuss how to manage these disasters, which parameters for us the control these disasters. Nowadays in our technologies era, there are the geospatial technology is very fastly growing technology. This technology, three parameters is very important, or three elements is there. Very first is a remote sensing. Another is the geographical information system. And third is the global positioning system. Remote sensing, GIS and GPS, they are the known or combinedly known as a geospatial technology. This technology totally depend on the satellite data, satellite interaction with the surface of the earth. For example, in this first slide, we have seen there the satellite images continuous observe our surface and continuously capture the data of everything of the surface of earth. Another is tortoise is there showing This tortoise every season they have come to the coastal area. After then they have go to the deep ocean, and some scientists identify what is the route of tortoise in the deep ocean and how much long they have go from to the coastal area, as well as what is the suitable area for the tortoise, what is the suitable environment for the tortoise in the deep ocean, and identify the perfectly suitable area for every fish or tortoise or other sea elements or in next slide. The geospatial technology specially used for the data analysis, data capturing. Another is the data mining. For example, the GPS data specially used for the in traveling, location, navigation, indoor positioning, surveying, majorly used in the GPS in the surveying. Every technology in the geospatial area, the major work is the Earth observation. There are the three source of Earth observation. Number one, satellite remote sensing. Another is the aerial mapping. And third is the nowadays drone observation. That is the very useful for us. Last is the scanning. They are the LiDAR, laser scanning, and the radar also useful for us. Here, the geographical information system, actually it is a research tool for working with the geographic information, spatial information. Also, it can be constructed as a science and technology. It is a basically computer-based system which is the capable of data capture and preparation of data also is there. Data management and analysis of this data, presentation of this data. These operations for capability of GIS enabled by computer system. Actually, it is the component of this GIS, computer system, softwares, data, infrastructure, and very important is the GIS users. In this unit, we will be discuss the component of GIS and what is the role of this GIS technology in various chapters. Next, the definition of remote sensing. The remote sensing means sensing the object that are far away from the reach of our sense. Very important is there. The sensing means the sensing the object. Which object? That are far away from the reach of our sense. For example, equator area, North Pole, South Pole, in the remote area of the ocean, islands, that area, there we will be not go easily. So, means sensing of the object that are far away from the reach of our sense. It is a tool to identify the characteristics of an object without having any direct contact over it. वहां तक न जाके भी हम वहां से उसका डिटेल्स ले सकते हैं। जहां पे जाने के लिए प्रॉब्लम्स या ऑब्स्टिकल्स होते हैं वहां से भी हम रिमोट सेंसिंग के द्वारा डेटा कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं। This slide show the elements of remote sensing. There are A to G. That is very important, and these slides totally define the what is the geospatial technology or what is the remote sensing. Basically, elements of remote sensing, they are the energy source of illuminations. What is the energy source? The sun is the major energy source for us, for Earth, for any planet. Another is the radiation and the atmosphere. B is the radiation and atmospherical area. Third is very important, interaction with the target. Interaction with the target. Third, recording of energy, the sensor. D is very important. What is the record? Interaction with the target, that data record the sensors of satellites. What is data on the surface? There are, as per the geographer, there are mountain, plains, plateaus, rivers, ocean, and so many things are there. For example, cities, lake, forest, deserts area is there, ice cover area is there. So many targets easily identify from the satellite, because of in every satellite they have the sensors, and that sensor particular data as per providing signatures they have collect and store this data. After then, transmission, receptions and the processing means E, वो डेटा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के द्वारा हमें रिलीज किया जाता है. Interpretations and the analysis, that is the another part. When we got this data, after that we analysis this data. And G is very important, that is the applications. We are the applicant, applications in societal issues. For example, in this area occurred the flood, occurred the earthquake, occurred the cyclone, how to track the cyclone. So many elements connect to this data. Another is the remote sensing means sensing to object. In other words, it can be defined as a science acquiring information about the surface. As we discuss, and nowadays in a especially GIS and remote sensing focus on land use, land cover, coastal, agriculture, forest, geographical mapping through the sensing energy emissions and the processing, analyzing and the record this data and reflect to the problems this data, that is the very important. Another is the remote sensing is the process of detecting and the monitoring of physical characteristics of the area by the measuring it's reflecting and the emanated the radiations at the distance. This data useful for not only a surface elements, that is also useful for to typically from the satellite or the aircrafts, even planes, choppers, everything are this data useful, because in this data we occur the atmospherical data, surface data, and circumstances of surface detailedly they have collect from these sensors. There are the special cameras collect the remotely sense images which help to researchers sense things about Earth. For example, cameras on satellite and aeroplanes take image of large area of the Earth's surface, allowing us to see such more than we can see then standing on the ground. The sonar system on ship can be used to create image of the ocean floor without the needing to the travel bottom to the ocean, as well as cameras on satellite can be used to make an image of temperature changes in the ocean everywhere. For example, data capture from the ocean, there are the different signature. On the cotton crop area, there are the signature is different. So because of this, data separately collect and deliver separately. Because of this, very easily this data available for everyone or common persons. Some specific use for remotely sense image of the Earth include in this area. For example, large forest fire in last some days in California, there are very large forest fire occurred is there. That time can be the mapped from the space, allowing rangers to see a such larger area than from the ground. We have easily identify the forest fire through this technology, and how to control this fire. For this, we sending rangers in this area, in which area we will be center rangers and control this fire. That for this technology very useful. After that, tracking clouds to the help predict of weather, watching of erupting volcanoes, and helps of watching the dust storms. Nowadays, in every country face the various geographical disasters or hazardous. For example, volcano, dust storms, and difficult weather conditions. That is the major issues. For example, our country capital, New Delhi, there are in a winter, very major issue is the air pollution. So because of this issue for facing this technology, we have very effectively work is there. In this energy source, we see in this diagram, the interaction with target, the recording the energy by source especially. Another is the transmissions and collect this data. How to work? That is the stages: satellite receiving the station, data processing, digital analysis, visual analysis, visually prepared maps, map preparation, GIS planning, decision making, and lastly, for very important is the planning monitoring. Another field is very important in the geospatial technology and very useful for every academician, every researcher. Geographical information system not used for only geography, geology, or atmosphere or environmental studies. GIS used in everything, everywhere. Even a language, mathematics, science field, everywhere, this geographical information system useful. Especially today we will be discuss on the what is the use in especially in disaster. So identify the flood area, identify the earthquake prone area. Another is the very nowadays the cyclone tracking system totally controlled by GIS and GPS. What is the trend? What is the direction? What is the impact of cyclone? All things we will be study or research through GIS. After that, landsliding and landsliding prone areas. We need, especially in the Himalayan ranges, there are the sedimental rock. When there the very heavy rain, especially occurred there the landslides, and this landslide is very hazardous because of the heavy rainfall. So the GIS identify this landslide prone area and specially suggest to the planning commission, and this area will be the secured and this area's peoples for useful for this information. Another is the biological disasters. Accidental disaster. Nowadays in accident, when you go to from one point to another point, there are you go with your vehicle. If in the road you have been accidental, there are some alarming systems. For example, police station, hospitals, all indications they have available in this field. Communication link, the satellite, drone, unmanned aerial vehicle. That is very important. That vehicle, that's a aerial vehicle, same as a chopper, but there are no man, unmanned aerial vehicle known as this. After then GPS only 3 words. But nowadays in India, who have Android mobile, those every person have a GPS. Nowadays, the use of GPS is very high. When you take one photographs, there are the GPS photo is very important for our every record of academic research and everything. So, the connect directly to the GIS data, internet. After that, the database, for example, every country's census having and study is very important. What is their population and population growth and population dense areas and the population medium and low population density areas, identifying and the supply chain maintaining this data is very important. Another is the topography. In a geographical study, topography is very important because of geography is the study of Earth's surface. And in term of geography, this surface name is the topography. Topography divided in three major parts: plain, plateau, and mountain. But especially in India, the dense forest area and the coastal areas, even the Thar desert, that is the difficult areas for the human development or the population development. Whereas in India, population located very high density. So there is two patterns is very important. One is the Gangetic Plain, another is the Satluj Plain. There are the density of population very high. Easily identify this data from this GIS technology. Another is the DEM, digital elevation model, that were useful for us who have studied in land use and land covers. What is land use and land covers? What is the use and utility of the land? What is their cover? For example, they cover the industry, they cover the settlement, they cover the ocean, they cover the lake, they cover the agriculture patterns. In these patterns, the irrigated patterns, non-irrigated patterns, drought area, drought prone area, deserts area, so many land use land covers, and this data connect these phenomena. After that, geology is the interior of the earth. About this study also in the GIS, structure risk, ground truth. What is the ground truth need? Sometime we will be go to the with GPS tracking. More time we will be see the data is the difficult data received from the GPS. Sometime we go to the wrong side. Because of this, the ground truth is very important. In GIS, ground truth activity is very major weightage is there. What is the difference? The imaginary and the ground truth, aerial photographs, field attribute data also is very important is there. Nowadays, the current technology advancing in various fields, especially in science technology, while the technical advance pose many challenges. We can use technology, but to artificially adopt and the replacement things, but human being, the other living organism are more important compares developments. The technological advances also increase the livelihood or disasters. A disaster can be natural or man-made disaster or an accidental, depending on the several factors. The main factor is a climate condition due to the human activities such as the air, water, and soil pollution. The geographical information system technically play as an important role in the counting the such disasters, combining the geographical information system with remote sensing to enable seamless applications of the technology at all stages of the disaster management cycle for the mitigation of the recovery of process. Another is the estimate damage, especially in disaster. What is the role of the GIS? The estimate damage infrastructure, prone, risk, vulnerability, zone mapping. Four major component of GIS direct connect to the disaster control or disaster management system. What is the, for example, one area is the earthquake prone, another area is the landsliding prone, another area is the tsunami prone. So many prone area identify via or with the remote sensing satellite data. After that, vulnerable zone mapping, that is very important for the every country planning. Another is the forecast of the disasters. Especially there are the cyclone forecast is a very accurate data nowadays available from the ISRO. The alternate route solutions, population and the properties at risk, response and recovery also is very important. There are the some locations tsunami hazard zones. In case earthquake, go to the high ground or the inland, there the mention. Another is the global positioning system. For the disaster study, in the disaster studies, the GIS, the natural disaster are very dangerous events caused by natural process on the earth. For example, of a natural disaster is the flood, earthquake, hurricanes, cyclones, cyclone eruptions, tsunami, some geological process are man-made or the anthropic. In India, especially in Gangetic area or northeast India, flood is very major disaster in these plains. What is the role this technology in the flood disaster? With the help of remote sensing and GIS techniques, flood can be predicted. Because of National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, and the State Disaster Management Authority, SDMA, utilize remote sensing techniques. The combination with the GIS photogrammetry technology, effective and economic way management of disasters. Geographical information technology play a key role also in the identifying the flood affected area or locations and providing shelters for the affecting peoples. In addition, so that the suitable places for the retaining wall structure and all these mitigations, alternative routes, that is very important. In flood, basically route is totally flow with this flood. The alternate routes for the driving the storm water. This process also help to the create the different level of vulnerability. So because of they have provided to us the map which indicates the area that frequently affected by the floods. For this map, we need Gram Panchayat, district, and there show the location of setup of boats and the rescue teams plans will be useful for this. The another is the earthquake. What is the role of earthquake disaster management? It is one of the oldest immense of the humankind, and now it is the possible to the map and analyze earthquakes. But in the details manner, GIS supports national, even regional, local imaginary organizations in the planning. Another is the managing preparatory programs. Also, the GIS-based urban information system is used to analyze demographic data and the infrastructural location also in this disaster of earthquake. The remote sensing and GIS technology provides us the exact position of the spatial data of the historic sites. The vision remote sensing GIS technology is the visual, critical, vulnerabilities and damages, rescues, the impact of disasters. They have mentioned the GIS technology results can be the respond quickly during disasters, and they have controlled the every disasters. Another is the cyclone tracking. Cyclone is very hazardous elements in this disaster. It is the most destructive force of nature. Cyclone, it is the most destructive force. They made totally naturally, but causing widespreading loss. Remote sensing technology use the monitor and collect acute information. The entire Earth globe concern the topography and the meteorological climate data. All data in this use and the predict what is the direction of this cyclone. Sometimes the temporal data of some places has become storm and dominant in determining as well as the forecasting natural calamities for the environment, ecosystem and production and development also there. Similarly, not only cyclic data, the remote sensing and GIS actively major role in other disasters like the drought, heat waves, cold waves, climate change, and global warming and its effects. They have occurred. The population disaster like the pollution disasters like the water pollution, soil pollution, climate and global warming effect. This type of disasters are based on the meteorological condition of the location or local places. This technology has been vital role imaginary preparedness through the planning and execution and has solved the many livelihoods. Another is the strategic decision. What is the strategic decision? Every strategic decision, we have the data. After done this data analysis, and when we analyze this data, identify the area, and that time we will be work very effectively on this any type of disaster. So the strategy, decision making, monitoring of climate change impact, and the accelerating future risks. It is the mathematical function algorithm to analyze the geospatial data and display the output and the visual formats also. GIS data especially use the visualized and patterns, and there the relationship can be the identified. But this pattern is very huge, very large area they have covered. More government agencies as well as the NGOs that support disaster management can benefit from the technology because they know which region are most affected. Another landslide and this type of disasters, the holistic data can be accessed by the GIS technology. And it will give more awareness to society when the government sectors, rescue teams display the vulnerability maps and announce the risk time by the climate, especially landslide areas. This technology also integrated the qualitative and quantitative data through the spatial relationship. The other excellent features such as the query builder, overlay analysis, raster and vector analysis, and the user interface, the permit to the performance of the query-based analysis in the multiple thematic layers. That is the technical area, technical terms is there. But the landslide hazard mapping is a typical problem that require a large database. Subsequently, the analysis of GIS result allow the user to be better understand, and the visualization of problem and result also very important. Another is actually it is the physical or natural disaster. They are known as a biological disaster. Such as the COVID-19 is the good example for the understand the importance of the information through the map. In the healthcare domain, the GIS technologies supporting against the global pandemic disease, COVID-19, the battle through the mapping of available data like the existing COVID positive cases, quarantine centers, hospital infrastructure capacities, and identifying the hotspots of COVID using this data based on the COVID-19 response and monitoring solutions. In this biological disaster, the GIS real-time spatial mapping and analysis skill will also act main role of the effect distribution of vaccinations. So, GIS technology help identify the disaster before occur the using the forecast risk zone. So useful for this methodology. Another, this technology create the imaginary database, and that is useful for people in need of all assistance in the event of the disaster. So we so many points cover with GIS. Another is the introduction of global positioning system. GPS also part and parcel of the geospatial technology. There are the use of this technology. GPS history is very important because everywhere we know the use of GPS day by day increased. The critical component of any successful rescue operation is time, knowing the precious disaster, relief terms, public safety, personally in the order of product and the property of loss. The global positioning system as a facilitating technology addressing these needs. You know this GPS connect to every human activity, has played a vital role in the relief efforts for global disasters such as the tsunami that track in the Indian Ocean regions in 2004, Hurricanes Katrina and the Rita that we could have in a Gulf of Mexico in 2005. The India and Pakistan earthquake in 2005, search rescue team for this use of GPS. The remote sensing technology map and disasters area rescue operation as well as the linkages connect to the GPS. The meteorological department also connect to the GPS because of meteorologist responsible for the storm tracking and the flood prediction also rely on the GPS global positioning system. They can assess the water vapors content by the analyzing transformation of the GPS data through the atmosphere. That is the very useful tool in this area. As the international industry position standard for the use by the imaginary and other specific vehicles fleets, GPS has been given manager of quantum leap forwards and also the efficient operations of their emergency teams. The ability effectively identify and view the location of police, even fire, rescue operations, also individual vehicles or ocean boats, ship, how there is location related to the entire network of transport system of the geographical area is the result in who knew is the doing the business. For example, the location information providing by GPS capable with the automations reduce delay in the dispatching of emergency services. All this depend on the GPS data. So because of day by day, the importance of GPS is increasing. Another is the GPS thing. The modernization of GPS will be further facilitate disaster relief, public safety services. The additional now new civil signals will be increased accuracy, reliability of all over the world. The in short of known is the GPS modernization translation to more lives saved the another faster rescue for the victim and the globally useful for these tools. Nowadays, in every country, dispute is there, and after the dispute, there are the fight is fixed. And that time, that type of technology is a very heavily used in these target groups. What is the significance of remote sensing? We see these slides also. Resource mapping for also used for this under this category. We can be study geology, geomorphology, landforms, soil, land use, land covers. Another is the geological survey mapping, oil mineral explorations, erosion and hydrology, hydrogeological elements, groundwater, spring detections, water quality and the turbidity, water pollution, snow and ice mapping, and the monitoring of the wetland. Agriculture sector, especially in India, play the major role in the development, in the increase the GDP of India. because of from innocent time we have engaged with sector, and more population of India depend on this sector. So we need to identify this area. What is this area and what is this area create the disasters, or we have go there and create the disaster and totally collapse this agriculture sector? Who is uh, creator there? Who is the what is the work of man in this the sector? That is very important. Nowadays we have the various technologies, but agriculture is the backbone of economy of India. There are so many crops, so many rivers, so many irrigation projects are there, but till today not cover the more challenges, not control the more challenges in this field. We know that the agriculture, most of countries around the world, the million of population every day engage with that area. It plays significant role of every nation. For agriculture to practice today in the cost-effective manners in large scale of farms, farmers need to be the informed efficiently about crop health, extent intervention, stress damage, yield potential, and the soil conditions in order to adopt viable strategy for the farming operations. This is clearly possible only with the help of remote sensing tools like satellite and the air drones images in nowadays for the spraying the pesticides. Use these drones very highly. What is the remote sensing provide the information to agriculture? There are especially the assess crop type, area covered by the particular crop, and also the health vegetations. The agriculture application of the remote sensing involve is the multispectral sensor because of once of crop health change, the spectral reflection of the field will also change. So nowadays the satellite data identify the disease of crops and how much area influence of this disease in this area they have identified, and after that the AI based agriculture. We know this new concept in especially in Baramati, there are this practice very effectively work because of the crop development, crop production monitoring through the AI. What is the role of AI in the agriculture? Very first is they have identified the issues. Where is the issues? Sometimes major issues in the soil. What is the pH of soil? Which content is soil very high? Which content is soil is very low? What is the effect of high content soil on the production, on the productivity of the crop? That is the monitoring work directly connect to AI. Another is the what is the atmospherical condition? And for example, the sugarcane is there. For sugarcane, how much water take, how much temperature they have wanted. Another is the rainfall ratio. So many natural phenomena, how to connect, how to reach the crop. For this, the AI based crop monitoring system nowadays very useful for the Indian farmers. The providing information and other information also, they have to work crop investigators, crop intensity, yield forecast, land capability, crop condition assessment and monitoring. Those are very important. Pests and pesticides, analysis of irrigation and non-irrigated area. In Maharashtra, especially drought area, drought prone area is very high. There are the Marathwada district and another is the Vidarbhas. Those are the drought prone area in Maharashtra. There the erratic rainfall is there. So because of there are the agriculture is not stable. Agriculture is not stable. The direct impact on the human society. There are so many commuted suicides is occurred there, and that is a very important issue for us for study, for research. Another is the identifying the soil types, even the how much moisture in the soil, they have data provide to the remote sensing GIS. In last point, the land suitability classification is very important. Land suitability is very important because of this control to the crop intensity and the classifications. Even the crop type of mapping they have provided. It provides information on the status, crop productions, crop rotations also important, grain supplies, crop stress and the damage due to the natural calamities. The visible infrared technology, it is a part of the remote sensing. The content of plants can be accessed easily, data captured through multi-sensors, and the provide information for monosensor. Radar is an excellent observatory tools that provide the information or planet structure and the moisture, can even the penetrate through the water vapor. It is the long wavelength and it is the active sensor capability. So in this area, the agriculture and soil, those are very closely correlate because of only of the soil and what is the soil condition, what is the biological content in the soil. In this ratio depend on the production of the crop, growth of crop and extension of the crop also is there. Nowadays, if we want the develop agriculture, we accept agriculture as a business. So nowadays need of the crop monitoring and damage assessment of the crop. Because of all crop do not grow evenly across the field. Some grow taller, some show the stunted growth. Basically, crop growth is an important factor that determine yield. But thus, growth difference may be due to the lack of soil nutrients. there are infections of weeds, diseases, pests, stress, especially in water stress. This point is impact on this yield. Through the remote sensing data, farmer can be made the aware to identify area within the field of expressing deficiencies so that he can be the recommended to apply correct dosage of fertilizer or apply grow the spray pesticides. So if you want, you go in the field and there spray the pesticides, but you don't know which type of disease occurred in this crop. So the remote sensing identify this disease, identify this infected area, and after that this data you will be analyze and you go spray. After that very systematically grow this crop monitoring. The benefits, scope, crop average essential, crop modeling for the yield, productions, timely the availability of the crop statistics for the decision making and planning, crop growth and monitoring, soil status monitoring, regular report and regular total area of the under cultivations. Here, the forest is very important. We know for every country, 33% minimum forest is compulsory. But another word is there, that is the deforestations, damage monitoring, fire mapping, and the health monitoring, conservations, biomass assessment, forest fire and detections, close open, degraded forest, all these issues, the available data from source of the satellite through to geospatial technology. So we know the forest is very useful and needful for us. In society, the forest plays an important role in the balancing earth temperature and the exchange of gases. They're from a major source of connections between three spaces. Number one is their atmosphere, second is the geosphere, and third is the hydrosphere. In hydrosphere, totally source of the water is available is there. The tropical rainforest with the houses, diversifications, species are more capable of the adapting to the changing environmental conditions. They provided habitat for the numerous animal and were the important source of the medical ingredient. Depletions of the forest, it is the main issue of the concerning forest management. So sometimes happens mainly due to the factors, basically natural causes and man-made causes. Natural causes of forest depletion are due to the natural fires and the infusions of particles. Man-made causes are due to the clearing, cutting, burning, land conservation. Another is demand and the commercial use. Forest trees for timber and woods also. The commercial forest is an important industry throughout the world where the basic principle is to crop the forest and reharvest again. So because of this industry is the continuous growing. However, it is the pretty sure that these companies are aware about the conservation of native species in the forest and suitable forest practices. Only thing they need to the follow is to be the economical and efficient extracting wood in the forest application of the remote sensing, including the mapping, commercialization, forest and environmental monitoring. In forest industry, the techniques is applied to monitor forest depletions, forest cover updating, crop cover update, measuring and biophysical properties of forest stand is there. Another is the commercial forest inventory of mapping applications. Commercial forest is to be held collecting details information about the harvest, availability of the timber, forest fire, regeneration assessment, density, vegetation, invention of the new species and the forest, etc. The all types of data, including the environmental monitoring assessment, forest cover, watershed areas also is there. Sometime in coastal area, the forest health through the remote sensing may be provide information to the authorities. Concern with the conservation of the natural resources, information like deforestations, species inventory, forest health, and the various human activities, they have to connect here. For this information and data collection, majorly the data source is satellite imagery from platform like Landsat, Sentinel, Moody's, and the commonly used the capture land cover information, while ground service and the existing land use maps providing additional data. One of the specific land use activity useful this data. Land use land cover resources. There is the type of land use areas and estimation is very important. The land use suitability, assessment of non-agriculture use, optimal land use by the overlaying land use data with the land cover information. GIS can be identify the area where the specific land use are the present and how they related to the physical environment. Chain detection, comparing land use, the land cover, maps from the different type of periods with the GIS allows for the analysis of changes. Even in a land use pattern over time, like deforestations or urban expansions, there are need to the urban planning and management. As well as the optimal land use. Another is the resource also two type of opportunities for the human development. But in this area also create the hazardous. Under this category, the following items can be done. Surface water bodies also resource. Rivers, stream and creeks also resource. River wires, tanks, lake, oxbow lakes, canals, lagoons, watershed characteristics, assessment of the irrigation and non-irrigated land, snow melt runoff, crop acreage estimations, yield predictions, timber value estimations. The surface water body, there are the store of fresh water, that water useful for us, especially human and the livestock, also the plants. So each and every living thing of the earth surface, they want surface water bodies clean and neat, and the also sustained surface water bodies. If there season-wise changes in the water level of the surface water bodies, so migration process create in the living thing of earth surface. In this living thing, man and animals majorly migrate depend on the water bodies. Especially we see every religious centralized in the river catchment area because of their available water, shelter. So this water bodies become a developed person, developed society, forward society. We need the water bodies is there. Yes. River streams and creeks also is the source of streams and creeks is there. Reservoirs in the every human techniques, every human development, the reservoirs is the backbone, that is the support systems of these areas. Through the data collection of GIS, the resource management is very important. There the gathering deserve the data source like the satellite imagery, aerial photographs, ground survey and existing resources investors to create comprehensive data sets within a GIS platform. Especially a spatial analysis utilizing GIS tools analyze the spatial relationship between different resource type, identifying patterns, trends, and potential conflicts across the geographical areas. Another is the mapping and the visualization is for the useful for the researcher and every planner who have planned the every state, country, district, and village also. Generating thematic map usually represent the resource distribution, including the land cover types, vegetation density, water quality, and the mineral depositions. The modeling and the predictions using GIS develop predictive models, simulate the future resources conditions because of the factors like the climate change, land use changes, and the resources also useful. The applications in resource management is every year growing this. The water resources management analyze the watershed boundaries. See there, the water quality, flow of patterns of managed water availability, identify the potential of pollution sources, and plan the irrigation of systems. Also, the biodiversity conservation connect to the mapping species distribution, identifying the critical habitats, planning protect the reservoirs and their available the habitats of the migrant birds. So this is the useful and the meaningful for us. Next is the GIS in disasters. There the list of disasters, flood damage assessment, drought conditions, landslide, cyclone and damage assessment, forest fire, forest disease, coal fire, volcanoes, flood management, earthquake, worldwide fire, and hurricanes tracking also is there. Actually, map showing multi-hazardous in India. Not a single area very safe in India. Everywhere is a hazard or disaster occurred. Show this map. The mapping, updating of the city town maps, urban sparrow, monitoring the town planning facility, management of GIS database, land use mapping analysis, infrastructure planning, environmental impact of assessment, demographic analysis, zoning, and the regulatory analysis, disaster management. So this type of planning very useful for us because of some area, particular area of the city, there are the dense settlement is there. There the route mapping and also the emergency exit routes or parallel system of the routes. So many thinkings we will be cover in this type of data. GIS disasters, there are the key function of GIS disaster management in the urban and regional planning also. For example, risk assessment, mapping area prone to specific disaster, but overlaying data like topography, population density, historical event, patterns, infrastructure vulnerability, identifying high risk zonation to the priorities of mitigations, efforts and developments, perishables plans, it extra. The real-time monitoring data that useful for the urban development. Integrating data from the satellite imagery, weather sensor and the social media feeds to track movement and the intensity of disaster of real time, creating the dynamic situations map visually effective from all potential impacts. Also the emergency response in dense area, crowded area of the cities, urban areas, identifying the optimized evacuations routes based on the road condition and the population density. So because of firstly identify the dense or crowdy and the high density population areas, that data we will be used to the any disasters. After that, the locating critical infrastructure like hospital, shelters, and the supply distribution center within affected areas, coordinating rescues team and the resource allocation based on the real-time situations, awareness also is there. Another is the damage assessment, comparing the pre-disaster imagery with the post-disaster satellite image to access the extent the damage infrastructure and the buildings also. The recover the efforts, identify the most several impact areas. For example, flood management, mapping flood plains, identifying area at the risk of monitoring rivers levels, issue timely warning in especially flood areas. Another is earthquake response, identification of faults, access potential, damage based the building density, and the mapping evaluation also. In the urban areas, hurricanes trackings, monitoring the path of the intensity hurricanes, issues the order to coordinate imaginary response. The data integrate the combination of various data sources like topography maps, demographic information, land use data, weather forecast, create the comprehensive analysis and the control this disaster with this effective and real and pure data. Sometime in India, the most prominent multi-hazardous area in Himalayan region, which is the susceptible to combination of natural disaster included earthquake, landslide, snow, flash floods, and extreme weather event, making it highly vulnerable to multiple hazards occur simultaneous in quick sessions. Other areas, the multi-hazardous zone in India, there are the coastal region also is prone to cyclone, storm surge, tsunamis, and coastal erosions, particularly along the east coast states like the Odisha, especially Bay of Bengal coast, Odisha, Andhra, another Tamil Nadu, West Bengal. This area, every time this area or this area's urban area affected because of these disasters. Even the river basin areas, along major rivers like this Gangas and Brahmaputra, where the continuous flood conditions due to the flood, heavy monsoon rain is there. In India, some areas known as the seismic zones, parts of the Indian peninsula, especially western and central regions, are prone earthquake by the points of multiple hazardous area in India. So we will be take a 10 minutes break. After then, continuous remaining slides. Hello everyone. We are connect after the some minutes. The another PPT deal with the natural and man-made disasters management. The not only nature, also human also in the role of disaster occurred sometime. In this figure, we see the risk assessment, mitigation and prevention, preparedness, even the role of warning is very important in the disasters. Saving people's, providing immediate assistance. In every disaster, there need food and water, and that provide ongoing assistance also very important. Restoration of the infrastructure services, reconstruction, economic and social recovery, ongoing development activities, and the three major component is there: the pre-disaster, post-disaster, and what is the response. In this, the compartment of response, there are two type of sources. One is the local man, common man. Another is the system or government and any NGO. Which type of response and immediate assistant of this response, that is the special and systematic management of disaster is there. Pre-disaster, there are a role of warning system, preparedness is there, mitigation prevention is there, and post-disasters, there are the rehabilitation is very economically, socially, psychologically, so many hazards work on at a time in this field, that is the post-disaster. There are the restore of the infrastructure, that is very challenging work is there. For example, in a particular area, there occurred the earthquake. After then, restoration of the infrastructure services, there are so many huge type of the economy is there, social elements influence are affected for this work. Reconstruction and resettlement reallocations, that is the connect to the societal economy and social recovery also is there. Ongoing development activities, for example, every people has connect with different type of sectors. For example, farmers are engaged in agriculture, one skilled labor engaged in the industry, another some type of student take a education from the college or schools. So everyone has the connect the development activity, but post disasters, that is the major task to this activity will be continuous. What is disaster? What is the vulnerability and the hazards? Three concept is there. Firstly, vulnerability. What is this? They have divided in three parts. Number one, underlying causes. Limited access to the resources. Everywhere, every disaster, that is the occur there. Illness and the disabilities, age and sex, poverty. Another segment in the vulnerability, the dynamic pressure, lack of institution, education, training, skills, as well as the population expenses, urbanization, uncontrolled development. And last is the environmental degradation. Third row is, they mention unsafe conditions, the dangerous locations, dangerous buildings, low income levels, that is the vulnerabilities. And the mixture of the vulnerability and the hazardous known as disaster. In hazardous, the triggered events, what is the trigger events in the hazard? There are the earthquake, tsunami, flood, cyclones, volcanic eruptions, drought, landslide, war, technical accidents, and environmental pollutions, that known as the vulnerability and the hazardous known as the disasters. Now, what is the hazard? In last side, we see the vulnerability plus hazardous known as the disaster. But now, what is the hazard? How it is the classified? Hazard means define a dangerous condition or event that threat or have a potential of causing injury to life or damage to the property or environment. What is hazard? The dangerous condition or event when have a potential causing injury to life or damage to property of environment, known as the hazard. There are two types of hazard. One is the natural. The natural hazard, there are including the meteorological, geological, even a biological origin. For example, cyclone, tsunamis, landslide, floods, droughts, fire are social natural hazardous since their causes are both natural and man-made. That known as the natural hazardous. On the other hand, the man-made hazardous also dangerous. Man-made hazardous are which are due to the human negligence. They are associated with the industries or energy generation facilities, including the explosion, leakages of toxic waste, pollution, dam failure, and war majorly, etc. See, there are various type of hazardous. Type of geological hazard, there are the earthquake, tsunami, volcano. The connect with the hazardous, there are the landslide, dam burst, mine fire, that are the man-made. Water and the climatic hazard, tropical cyclone, tornado and the hurricanes, floods, drought, hailstorm, cloudburst. There are landslide also. Landslide, both are them. geological also hazard, and the water, heavy rainfall, because of heavy rainfall to create the landslide hazard, heat and cold wave, snow balance, sea erosion. Another type of environmental hazard, they are the environmental pollution, deforestation. As per the biological, human animal epidemics, pest attacks, desertification, desertification, pest infection, food position, weapon of mass destruction. Another type is the man-made. There are the chemical, industrial, and nuclear. In chemical disasters, industrial disasters, oil spills, fires, nucleus, accidental in the boat, road, train, and accidental air crash, rural urban fires, bombs, series bombs, and blast, forest fire, etc. Now, vulnerability. What is the vulnerability? May be the defined as the extent to which is the community, structure, services, or geographical area is likely to be the damaged or disrupted, impact on particular hazard on the account of the nature, construction and the proximity of the hazardous terrain or the disaster prone areas. For example, physical, social, economical, environmental vulnerabilities. The physical vulnerability, it is the including notion who has what may be the damage destroyed in natural hazardous earthquake to physical. It based on the physical conditions, risks such as the building infrastructure, etc. There the proximity locations and building structures to resist the forces acting upon the during the hazards. In the social vulnerability, it is the refer to the inability of the affected population to the induce informable impact of the hazardous. It is included social aspects such as the level of the literacy, good governance, social justice, conventional values, customs, and ideological beliefs. It seeks to the estimate that effect of event and vulnerable groups of society and responsible hazardous. Another is the economic vulnerability, that is the demonetization after then the economical crisis. It refers the potential of impact of hazardous and the assets and business and processes. The level of economic vulnerability is the depend to the great extent on the economic status and the individuals, communities, and the nations. Last one, the environmental. The aftermath of the natural resources, depletions, sources of degradation. What is the risk? Is a situation involving the export to the danger of the possibility there's something the unpleasant, unwelcome will happen. It constant disaster management risk is viewed as a product of the interaction of the potential damage, event, and the vulnerability conditions of the society of elements exposed. Capacity is the defined as the resources, means a strength which exists a household and communities which is enabled to the withstand, prepared for the prevent. Two type of physical and social. Some type of disasters. Very important is there. What is the cause of disaster? The tropical cyclone, warm core non-frontier lower pressure system, develop over warm water above 80°F into the tropics. Organized a thunderstorm around the center circulations, fuel release heat from rain and cloud formation. Subtropical cyclone, cool, cold, core, non-frontier low pressure systems develop over the tropical or the subtropicals are there. Another is extratropical cyclone. There is the cold core, frontier low pressure system, development over land or sea in the mid latitude. Thunderstorm can be occur, but are the seas session location depend and the generally do not form the around of central circumambulations. Conventional convective storms, see in right figure shown, there the mid and high winds circulate and there the motion is occurred. Firstly, geographical disasters known as a geophysical disaster are event originating from the solid earth. For example, earthquake refer to tremors of the earth. Two important factors is there: intensity, magnitude, and the epicenter. Volcanic activity describe both of the transport of magma and or gases to the earth surface, which can be the accompanied by the tremors and the eruptions. Mass movement is very important. Mass movement refer to the movement of the quality of debris, land, snows, ice, lights, and down mountains. Another is the rockfall, subsidence, available materials rapidly snow up the movement equity, snow or ice that slides, mount sliding under the force of the gravity. Another is the rockfall, landslide, mudslide, and slumping. See, we know the type of disaster and its causes. Geophysical disasters. There are the landslide known only, but rockfall also there are the geophysical disaster. Fragments of rock break away from the cliff face due to the weathering, so create this rockfall. Mudslides especially occurred in the Himalaya ranges because of there are the sedimentary rocks and stratified soil flows down to slope known as the mud slide. Slumping, the stratified soil slumps along curved surface. And last is the landslide, block of rock slide downhill known as the landslide. An earthquake is a trembling or shaking of ground causes by the sudden release of the energy stored into the rock benefits the earth's surface. Most earthquakes occur along with pre-existing faults, but new fault can be the created during the earthquake. See, in this chart, the focus, this is the actual location where the fault movement began. Almost every earthquake has it is a focus located below the earth surface. This is the point land surface directly above the focus, and it is the location normally the reported, it is the new or the shown of map. That is the hydrological. The hydrological disaster are natural event cause. Basically, abnormalities in the water cycle, including the excessive precipitation, rapid snow melt, or the coastal storm surge. This disaster lead to flooding, erosion, and the significant environmental and social impacts. But cause for urban floods, that is different. And some another areas, for example, farmland, coastal land, that area is the effect is different. Some cause is there for the hydrological disaster. Firstly, naturally, there are the very first is the heavy rainfall, intense and the prolonged precipitation lead to river overflow and urban flooding. Snow melt also one of the cause for the create the natural disaster. Rapidly melting of snow spring the increase river discharge beyond the capacity. Soil saturation when the ground cannot absorb more water of the surface, runoff increase leading to flood and flood conditions is occur. Last is the tropical cyclones and the monsoon. Especially in India, the tropical cyclone, Bay of Bengal coastal area, for example, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, and West Bengal, every year, majorly 3 to 4 cyclones bring a very hazardous flood in this coastal area. So, the natural causes, the tropical cyclone and monsoon, that also major role play in the flood disaster. Another is the under the developing drainage area, where you see in these slides the cause of the urban floods. Aggravated urban floods when the combined with the ill-planned urban development patterns and increased urban runoffs. Climate change, frequent precipitations, extremes hydrological boost floods and hazardous. The urbanization, dense populations, centralized capital lead to the increased societal expansions and flood hazards. The urban development patterns, there are the convert natural landscape into the impressive concrete surface, increase the urban runoff, cause losses of the aquatic ecosystems, fragment and natural waterways into the cities. The hydrological disasters, these are event cause the deviation of the normal water cycle and the overflow bodies of the water wind setup. It can be further categorized into the following: general flood, storm surge flood, and glacial flood. It is the climatological disasters. According to the Center for Research and epidemiology of disaster. It is the event caused by the live meso and the micro scale processes. There are disasters caused by the extreme temperature, heat wave, cold wave, and winter storm. Another is the drought. Drought is the long endurance event caused by the lack of rainfall. Worldwide refers to the uncertain burning fire usually in the wildlands, which has the cause of damage to forest, agriculture, infrastructure, and building. Another is the hot air masses expand the vertically into the atmosphere. High pressure pushes warm air down towards the ground. The dome of high pressure divert clouds around it. As the air seeks, it warms to the compressions. As the ground warm, it losses moisture when the makes it easier heat waves. In dot, we see 4 type of dots. One is the agriculture dots, that known as the agriculture dots occur when there it is not the enough moisture in the soil, sustain the growth of crop, that known as the agriculture drought. Another is the socio-economical drought. Directly this drought connect to the food and water supply and human and environmental needs. Lack of this concept in this dot. Third is the hydrological dot. Sometime in Marathwada and Vidarbha, in drought-prone areas of the India, the hydrological dot occur when there is a lack of surface and subsurface water supply. Meteorological droughts. The meteorological droughts are the region specific. They occurred when an area receive less rainfall is a normally. There are the heat waves. In heat waves, high pressure system that trap warm air near to surface, known as high pressure systems. Urban heat and islands effect, intensification of temperature in cities. Cold waves, sudden and prolonged drops in the temperature, leading extreme cold conditions. What is the cause of cold waves? That is very important. Every year, 1 to 2 cold waves occurred in Maharashtra in the winter season. Cold waves cause is the polar vertical shifted, bring cold air masses into the temperature region. In the temperate region, that is the polar vertical shifted air masses, they have bring the cold waves. Another is the wicking of the jet stream, allows the Arctic air penetrate further south. Third is the winter storm. That is the severe storm characteristics by the heavy snowfall, freezing, rain, storm winds, etc. And also they have create because of interaction of cold Arctic air with the moist air from the oceanic regions. Another cause is there the rapid cooling of air masses leading to heavy snow accumulation that cause the winter storm created. The drought of long-term deficiency of precipitation leading to water shortage. It can be the classification. We see there the agriculture, socio-economical, hydrological and meteorological. Another is very important in this total monsoon and precipitation. The El Nino and La Nino cycle disturb the rainfall pattern, especially in the temperate region or Indian subcontinent. For this disrupt the human activities, for example, deforestation, reduce the soil moisture, over extractive of groundwater, depletion of the water reserves, climate change, increase the frequently prolonged dry spells. When we sow the crop in the Kharif season, they have bring out and after some days occurred the dry spells, and this dry spells very negative effect to crop growth. Another is the natural causes for the uncontrolled fire spread rapidly across the vegetation covered area. They can be caused basically from lightning strike, ignite dry vegetation area. They have connect to the fire. High temperature and storm wind spread the fire. Another is in this climatologic disaster are worsening to the climatic change. When we conclude this slide, that time the climate change, deforestation and poor land management, early warning system, afforestations, improved land use planning, and the climatic adoption strategies are essentially for the reducing their impact of these disasters. Last some minutes we see the man-made disasters. Man also continuous active. The technical or more made hazards are event that are caused by human and occurred or to the close human activities. Human is the part and parcel for society. So because of that known as the social disasters. Arson is the crime intensively and the cruelly setting of the building, wildlands, vehicle or the other properties with intention to the cause damage. Another is the terrorism. It is the systematic use of the violence, terror as the means of the political purpose, and everywhere they have used. The political disasters create the more wars. Now in world, the Ukraine and Russia, Gaza, Israel, and so many examples. For example, till today, more countries in the political disasters totally destroyed. For example, our neighbor country of Sri Lanka, they have, there are the political disaster. Some policies they have bring and the compulsion of these policies for their peoples and they are not accepted. So recreate these people and totally destroy this country. Same condition in Syria, Afghanistan. There are many years, last many years, there are the war and war. So because of this disaster is not in control, it's organized and often prolonged conflict that carried out of the states, non-states, either characterized by the extreme violence, social, economic destruction, the type of wars based on the weapon used. Number one, or A, chemical weapon, a device that use chemical formulated to the inflict death or the human being. The biological weapon is very dangerous. Use biological agent, bacteria, virus, and fungi. That also very dangerous for mass destruction and also known as the germs warforce. Third is the nuclear weapon. It is the device that derived the destructive force from the nuclear reactions. Armed conflict, it is the contest the incompatibility, which is the concerned government and the various battles they have occurred. I think industrial disaster, in the last lecture, Professor Mule sir delivered on this topic lecture. Human disaster, there are the airplane crash, road accident, causing the food position, carbon monoxides, increase the population density worldwide, the standard of the living have the documented have a various dimensions of disasters, economical, political, also psychological disaster, very impactful in society. Because of the psychology and social psychology different and personal psychological perceptions to see the psychology, that is very important. Because of what is my status in society, what is the role of in my society, all these things are very important in the in 1994 Rwandan genocides. No, I don't know about this disaster. Someone sent to me this message, but I will be send all details about this after the lecture. This type of pictures occurred in Iraq war, terrorism activities, floods, oil spilling, all these the man-made. After then, the disaster management. 4 phases of the disaster response. The recovering from the disaster to minimize damage, enhance the resilience, mitigation, reduce the disaster risk before the occur. That is very important. Preparedness, planning and training for the effective disaster response. Third is the response. Last some minute I told response, there are two source is very important. One is the common man, another is the government. That response, immediate action taken during that after the disaster. Recovery and rehabilitation, rebuilding and the restoring affected the communities. And this phases not easy through the economical and socially because of only one thing, rehabilitation. There the so many content is there in rehabilitation. What rehabilitation? A road is rehabilitation, house is rehabilitations, electricity, water supply, so many elements connect with this rehabilitation concept. Another is the recovery. Recovery is a two type of recovery. One a social, economical, and the human psychological. Three type of recovery is there. Importance of disaster management today's worlds. The increasing frequency and the severity of the disaster. Climate change and the intensified flood, wildfire, hurricanes, and the heat waves. Rapidly urbanization has the increased vulnerability of the disaster. Earthquakes in densely populated areas. Economic consequences. The global economic cost of disaster is in the hundred of billions of dollars annually. For example, in 2011, Japan earthquake and the tsunami caused losses exceed the $2,235 billion. Protection of human life and livelihood, early warning system and the disaster preparedness save a life, investment of the disasters, risk reduction, minimization loss, and the preparedness of jobs. Another is the disaster health and nexus. Pandemic show the importance of the preparedness in the public health disaster. Emergency responses help to the secondary. Okay. So, have any question? कुछ क्वेश्चन हो तो बता सकते हैं, बोल सकते हैं. मराठी, हिंदी, इंग्लिश कशामध्ये पण प्रश्न विचारू शकता. काही डिस्कस असेल तर करू शकता. किंवा टाईप करून मेसेज जरी केला तर चालेल. Any question, query? Okay, thank you so much for listener care. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. अच्छा, म्यूट आहे का सगळ्यांचं? ठीक आहे चालेल. मी गौरवला बोलतो. चालेल. थँक्यू. माईक म्यूट असेल तरी टाईप करा, काही क्वेश्चन असतील तर. थँक्यू. थँक्यू एव्हरीवन. हो, भूकंप हे नैसर्गिक तर आहेच, परंतु मानवनिर्मित भूकंप नाही. भूकंप हे नैसर्गिकच आहे. जीपीएसचा वापर आपत्तीमध्ये कसा होतो, असा एक प्रश्न किरण सरांचा, डॉक्टर किरण सरांचा आहे. तर जीपीएसचं काम काय आहे की सर लोकेशन परफेक्टली सांगतं. आणि समजा एखाद्या ठिकाणी आग लागली तर बरेचदा काय होतं की ऍड्रेसवरती आपण जातो. ऍड्रेसवरती आपण गेल्याच्या नंतर बऱ्याचदा तो ऍड्रेस आपल्याला आयडेंटिफाय होत नाही. परंतु जीपीएस लोकेशन जर सांगितलं तर त्यानुसार आपल्याला परफेक्ट माहिती त्या ठिकाणाची मिळू शकते. साधारणतः पहा की ज्या भागामध्ये अतिशय जसं कॅलिफोर्नियामध्ये आग लागली, त्या आगीचं लोकेशन आपल्याला सॅटेलाइटहून काढावं लागलं. आणि जर आपल्याला जीपीएसच्या माध्यमातून लोकेशन जर परफेक्ट कळालं तर आपण त्या ठिकाणी जाऊ शकतो. दुसरं एक उदाहरण जीपीएसच्या बाबतीमधलं आपत्तीचं तुम्हाला सांगावंसं वाटतं की आंध्र प्रदेशची माजी एक मुख्यमंत्री होते, त्यांचं नाव मला सध्या आठवत नाही, काहीतरी रेड्डी वगैरे होते. त्यांचं चोपर विमान जे हेलिकॉप्टर आहे ते जंगलामध्ये क्रॅश झालं. क्रॅश झाल्यानंतर त्याचे बरेच तुकडे इकडे तिकडे पडले आणि मग ते शोधता येत नव्हतं. त्यावेळेस त्या चोपर हेलिकॉप्टर मधलं जे काही जीपीएस होतं त्या जीपीएसचं ट्रॅक लागला आणि त्यानंतर ज्या वेळेस ते क्रॅश झालं त्याच्या अगोदरपर्यंत जीपीएसचं ट्रॅक लागत असल्यामुळे परफेक्टली आपल्याला ते त्या ठिकाणी कळू शकलं. YSR रेड्डी बरोबर आहे, त्यांनी टाकले कोणीतरी. शक्यतो रेड्डी कोणते आहेत आता सांगता येणार नाही, पण तशा पद्धतीचं आहे ते. आणि दिवसेंदिवस काय झालेलं आहे की आपल्याकडे सुद्धा आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल आपण दिवसभर कुठे फिरतो, कुण्या गावाला गेलो, कुठल्या हॉटेलला थांबलो, कुठल्या ठिकाणी गेलो, हे सगळं सुद्धा ट्रॅक आजकाल आपल्याला या माध्यमातून होतं. बरोबर आहे. डॉक्टर मनोज सर सुद्धा म्हणतायत की शाश्वत विकासाचे नियम न पाळता म्हणजे आपत्कालीन परिस्थिती मूळ कारण ही मानवच आहे. नक्कीच सर. आणि बालयुगीनचं झालं होतं ना. अच्छा, तर आहे म्हणजे मानव सुद्धा तितकाच जबाबदार आजकाल आहे. एवढं निष्काळजीपणे तो राहतो आहे, इतके प्रॉब्लेम्स क्रिएट तो करतो आहे. तरी सुद्धा त्यामधून आजही जर आपण पाहिलं तरी असंख्य प्रॉब्लेम मानवापासून तयार होत असलेले आपल्याला दिसतात. जसं आपल्याला कचरा कलेक्ट केला जातो आपल्याकडे, परंतु त्यावरती प्रोसेस होत असताना जी काही निष्काळजीपणा केला जातो त्यामुळे डम्पिंग ग्राउंड शहराच्या प्रत्येक ठिकाणी वाढत आहे. मूळ काय झालेलं आहे की ग्रामीण भागाकडून शहराकडे जात असणारा जेवढा काही फ्लो आहे, हा फ्लो इतका मोठ्या प्रमाणात वाढतो आहे रोजगाराच्या निमित्ताने जाणारा. त्यामुळे शहराच्या कुठल्या सिस्टीमचं बॅलन्स आज राहिलेलं नाही. म्हणजे रस्त्यावरचं बॅलन्स नाही, त्याच्यामुळे आपल्याला ऍक्सिडेंट होत असताना दिसतात. किंवा मग रेल्वे आहे, तर रेल्वेमध्ये सुद्धा आपण क्षमतेपेक्षा जास्त लोक त्या ठिकाणी बसतात. त्याचबरोबर भारतासारख्या देशामध्ये सगळ्यात म्हणजे द इंडियन पॉप्युलेशन इज द काय म्हणतात रिसोर्स आर हझर्ड. भारताची लोकसंख्या साधन संपदा आहे का विपत्ता आहे, अशा प्रकारचे प्रश्न या ठिकाणी पडलेले आहेत. टेक्नॉलॉजी प्ले अ प्रिडिक्टिंग अँड द प्रिव्हेंटिंग मॅनमेड डिझास्टर. मॅनमेड डिझास्टर तर आपणच करतो, त्यामुळे ते होत आहे डिझास्टर तयार हे आपल्याला 100% प्रिडिक्ट करता येतं किंवा सांगू शकतो. अनेकदा बोर्ड लावलेले असतात बऱ्याच ठिकाणी की त्या ठिकाणी हे टाळावे ते टाळावे. तरी परंतु आपल्याला काय वाटतं की आपल्यामुळे काय होणार नाही, किंवा आपण जर आपण एक प्लॅस्टिकची बॉटल खिडकीतून खाली टाकलं म्हणजे आपल्याला काय फरक पडणार नाही. परंतु त्याचं होणार काय, ते जाणार कुठे, त्याचं म्हणजे कशा पद्धतीचं ते घनकचरा व्यवस्थापन होणार, किंवा अशा अनेक गोष्टी खूप मोठा प्रश्न तयार करतात. फॉर एक्झाम्पल या सगळ्या गोष्टीमध्ये जर आपण पाहिलं, पोल्युशन हा विषय खूप महत्वाचा आहे. मानवी गरजा जितक्या वाढत जातात तेवढं पोल्युशन वाढतं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल आपल्या घरामध्ये आपण पाहायचो, आपल्याकडे आपले आई वडील किंवा आपल्या अगोदरचे एक व्यक्ती एक चप्पल असायचं, खूप तर दोन, एक शूज आणि एक स्लीपर चप्पल काय असेल. आता घरामध्ये जितके व्यक्ती आहेत त्याच्याकडे किमान 5 जोड. अशा पद्धतीनं शाळेला मुलगा जरी चालला तरी शाळेचा 2 शूज आहेत, घरामध्ये घालण्यासाठी 2 शूज आहेत, एक स्लीपर आहे, एक चप्पल आहे, अनेक गोष्टी. म्हणजे हे जे अप्लायन्सेस वाढत चालले त्याच्यामुळे कंपन्या वाढल्या. तुम्ही हे सर्व घटक घरामध्ये घेऊन आलात, त्यामुळे मागणी वाढली. मागणी वाढली की पुरवठा वाढला, पुरवठा वाढलं की उत्पादन वाढलं. मागणी तसा पुरवठा करता करता या ठिकाणी आपल्याला अनेक प्रॉब्लेमला त्या ठिकाणी सामोरं जावं लागतं आहे. आणि मग असं होतं की हा, आता ही खूप छान प्रश्न आहे सरांचा. सर, समस्या ही आहे की प्लॅस्टिक बंदी केली जाते परंतु कारखाना बंद केला जात नाही. डायरेक्ट याचा GIS मुळे नैसर्गिक आपत्तीची अचूक माहिती प्राप्त होते का? अचूक म्हणता येणार नाही, पण त्याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा 3 मीटरचा एरर असतो. म्हणजे एखादा एरिया जर आपण आयडेंटिफाय केला तर त्याच्यात खूप मायनर आहे तो, परंतु सर ॲक्युरेट माहिती निघते. आपल्याला एका गावामध्ये किती कपाशीचं पीक किंवा सोयाबीनचं पीक किती एकरमध्ये आहे हे जर काढायचं असेल तर आपल्याला त्याची परफेक्ट माहिती यामधून मिळते. इव्हन म्हणजे कुठलाही एरिया आयडेंटिफाय करण्यासाठी आज GIS चे मॅपिंग, शेती सुद्धा GIS च्या मॅपिंगशी कनेक्ट होत असलेले आपल्याला दिसते. छान. अमेरिकेचे माजी उपराष्ट्रपती अल गोर यांची इनकॉन्व्हिनियंट ट्रुथ ही मानवनिर्मित आपत्कालीन असली काहीतरी स्टोरी आहे, वाचावी असं काही जण सांगतात. ओके, चलो, थँक्यू सो मच फॉर पेशंटली लिसन. चालेल. मला वाटतं अनम्यूट केलं वाटतं त्याने, पहा. थँक्यू बोडके सर, थँक्यू सो मच. सगळ्यांचे खूप खूप आभार. नाही केलं का?
अनम्यूट करा जरा.
अच्छा त्याला ठीक करायचं होतं का असं हो
पार्टिसिपेंट अनम्यूट किया है.
अनम्यूट केलेलं आहे हो.
Okay, sir. Shall I propose vote of thanks? I'm roll number 20, sir.
या
No,
या
I didn't.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Archana Patil, roll number 20. I'm a participant of refresher course on disaster management organized by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University UGC-MMTTC. I'm here to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University UGC-MMTTC. I would like to thank today's speaker of afternoon session, Dr. Madan Suryavanshi sir, Head Department of Geography, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University. Sir have given sir informative talk. Sir have focused on introduction of geospatial technology. He has explained natural disasters, especially in India, like earthquakes, cyclones, etc. Sir have focused on different points like remote sensing, elements of remote sensing, mechanism of remote sensing, identification of geographical information system, resource mapping, as well as sir have also focused on role of AI in identification of major issues in agriculture, as well as resource management, disaster location and monitoring, urban and regional planning. And in second session, sir have talked about natural and man-made disaster management. In that, sir have focused on pre and post disasters and response. And actually, disasters are vulnerability and hazards. Sir have explained different types of hazards, types of vulnerability, risk and capacity, different types of disasters and its causes, as well as man-made disasters and how to manage the disasters. It's 4 phases and importance of disaster management in today's world. Sir, your talk was really very informative and insightful. I'm really thankful for that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
थँक्यू मॅडम. थँक्यू एव्हरीवन.
Thank you, sir.
थँक्यू थँक्यू
Thank you, sir.
थँक्यू थँक्यू
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Roll number
Thank you,
21,
sir.
22, 3, 4.
Yes,
Report
ma'am.
and summary writing आपके कल के लिए ready करना है.
Ma'am, 22, I am
Okay, ma'am.
22. 21 is totally absent today. So what
Okay.
should I do, ma'am, for tomorrow's
You
summary?
you
or
should write
report?
down a report on a first session.
Okay.
And
Okay,
the
ma'am.
roll number 21 will be write down summary.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. And then further roll number 23 summary and 24 report write.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.